Hello, artists. Today, I want to introduce you to your visual art portfolio, which is a digital portfolio that you can find in your Art Google Classroom. So the first thing you'll need to do is open up your Chromebook and find your art class page. For the most part, your visual art portfolio will probably not show up in the upcoming box on the stream. So instead, you'll want to go into classwork and you'll actually want to click through and see if you can find the visual art portfolio. I did move it up, but sometimes it's not always moved up and you might need to go slide down a little bit to find it. So it's a little different on my view, but I went to classwork and under portfolio, I found visual art portfolio. So there's a whole bunch of things there. Later in the year, you might have to scroll down to find it. But once you do, you know this little hack. Mrs. Altieri attaches a lot of things, which you cannot see when it's just the assignment. So not only do you have to click on the assignment, but you also might benefit from clicking view instructions, and you can always see if I have many attachments. Luckily, this time I just have one attachment, and in your view, it's probably going to be up here in the corner with your name on it. I've made a custom attachment for each and every one of you. So when you open your visual arts portfolio, it should open up in a new tab. We got our new tab up here. And today we're really focusing on slide 1, 2, and 3. But the goal is by the end of June, you'll have every slide filled up and maybe you even add additional slides. You do need to include images of all of the major projects we complete in 8th grade accelerated art this year. And if you do other artwork on your own, maybe from last year, summer camp on your own, things that you really love, please include those as well. So the template is a little overwhelming. Today we're going to focus on slides 1, 2, and 3. But even just looking at slide 1, you need to customize and personalize. So instead of your name, you actually type in your name. And I want you to make choices. Do you want all caps? Do you want lower cases? Then look around on the slide. So for example, it says delete this text box and put an image of your favorite artwork or yourself here. So delete the text box. Okay, delete. And you're going to put an image of your artwork there. How do you do that? Well, you have some options. You can use the camera on your Chromebook, or you can use one of Mrs. Altieri's attachable webcams and you can insert the USB webcam camera into your Chromebook, which is a little bit better. If you are at home and you'd like to use your own device, you can, but in school, I need you to use your Chromebook for this. So just like we usually do, you're going to go to Insert, Image. So I'm in the upper left-hand corner, Insert, Image, and then you go to Camera. If you've used the cameras before, it should be attached. If not, I'll show you some options. Hi! So here is my webcam that's attached. If you've never attached the webcam camera, make sure that when you get it, you also get one of these sheets. And this has the instructions that you'll need to set up the webcam camera for the first and only time on your Chromebook. So anytime your Chromebook is opened with the camera connected, it should go to this option for you. But if the camera's not plugged in, it'll go to the camera that is already on your Chromebook. So make sure you get this if you're having trouble. Once you have this, it's a little deceiving, but you actually want to put your artwork flat on the table and you are going to stand up and put the webcam over top. That's if you're photographing flat artwork on paper. So here we go. Get ready to get dizzy. Whoa. Holy cow, there's my desk. And there's some artwork that's kind of flat. You really don't want it to be tilted. You don't want it to be off-centered. You really want to try and get your artwork so that it's not warped. It's okay if you have some extra space around the artwork, but you really just want to make sure that when you're doing it, it's not really weirdly at an angle, that you're almost right over top of the artwork. And this is hard to do. It's hard to get the hang of. Clearly, I'm struggling. But once you get the hang of it, it does take a slightly better picture than if you were to do it with just the Chromebook. So I'm going to go ahead and take my picture by clicking the yellow circle. And you also have to decide which image you want to use and click insert. So I'm going to click insert, and then it puts the artwork in your portfolio. Of course, I want to make some changes now. And some of you know about this, some of you don't. You might decide, you know what, there's too many shadows, I want to retake it. But another thing you need to do is double click it. So right on your trackpad, double click the image. And I don't know if you saw that, I'll do it again, but slight black lines appeared inside the blue. So you got the blue line right now, but if I double click it, slight black lines appear. And I can use these to crop the image. I always crop from the corners so it doesn't distort it. It's hard to do on your trackpad, you might have to practice. But in art, you want to crop all the way to the artwork and then a little bit extra. You don't want to see the table at all. So again, grab from the corners, bring in, bring in, bring in. You can actually crop the artwork, boom, and hit enter, and it will delete all the extra space. Many of you know that there is a toggle here that you can use to spin. So I'm going to toggle and spin. Now, again, use the corners. You don't want to distort your artwork. Use the corners. You can make it bigger. And the other cool trick that many people don't know is on Google, you can double click the artwork, or you can go to the top where it says format options and a drop down menu appears on the right, and you can adjust things like the brightness. Whoa, you can adjust the contrast. So if you need to make some changes, you can. Now, I want you to do the same thing for the next two slides. So we're working on slide 1, 2, and 3. So again, it says delete this box. Okay, delete. And it says put an image of your super self in there. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. I got to put an image of my super self. Image, insert image, camera. And you're going to pick the camera up. It's really, really, really awkward. If your artwork is bent a little bit, so the corners are peeling up, ask Mrs. Altieri, ask me about the heat press. I do have a heat press option for you if this is kind of driving you nuts out, or we can just flatten it with other means. But once your artwork is flattened, you're going to do the same thing with your superhero. Try to line it up as best you can. Maybe you have a buddy helping you. And once you feel like it's not too crooked, maybe I'm lining up with the edges there, you click the yellow camera. But now if you look on my camera window, there's two options here. On the right hand side, I can either do the Tim Burton artwork or the superhero. So make sure you click on the artwork you actually want to insert. And same thing as before, double click it, crop by pulling the corners, enter. You can make it bigger by pulling the corners. If you want to go to format options, you can change the brightness, the contrast, play around with that. And then please, please, please change the text boxes. We completed this project in December. Always put the year and change the text boxes. I put super self, but you can change it to something like magnificent flame. Come up with a cool title. And then it says delete these prompts and write a description of your artwork. You can even delete certain parts at a time. Like for this artwork, I used a combination of pencil, pen, watercolor paint, colored pencils, and collaged snowflakes. the theme, and then you can answer each question. I was inspired by winter. So you really want to make this personal. And if for some reason you delete the whole prompt and you forget what it is, each one is the same. So I want you to do this for slides 1, 2, and 3. 3 is your Tim Burton artwork. And I would like you to use the attached cameras. If not, use your Chromebook. And if you're ever at home and you make something magical, you can also insert at home. You can also add additional slides if you want, but this will be graded at the end of the year in June. Please help each other out. Ask me if you have questions, and hopefully this is the start of a portfolio that will be saved in your Google Drive until you graduate high school. And even then, you can make a copy of it and you could share it with yourself and your own personal Google account, or you can even save it to any other account. Especially if you're thinking about a career in the arts, maybe doing some kind of college or extra classes in the arts, a digital portfolio is really great. And even if you're not thinking of that, it will show you all the awesome artwork you've made this year, and it'll show you how you've grown and changed as an artist. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see what you've created.